Okay, so we've seen DNS and all that set up here. Next, we're going to set up Pixie server. Okay, so what is Pixie server? You know how you've been using your CD to install the operating system, but once we set up this server, we could install operating system from the network. Okay, so Pixie actually stands for pre-boot execution environment. Okay. All right, let's take a look here. Okay. So this is a good definition here. So let me just minimize this. Okay, so once this is set up, you will know what exactly I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and start working on it. So the package you need to install this thing is called DHCP, TFTP server, and syslinux. Okay, so the prerequisite for this is to set up on a yum server. So you have to go and set it up as a yum server first, and then after that you could continue on installing Pixie. Yeah, this one here. It's a local repository, so you have to follow these instructions to set up a yum server. Okay. All right. So right now I'm not connected to the internet, but hopefully we'll see if we are able to install it from our yum server itself. Okay. All right. So command is yum install dhcp tftp and syslinux. Okay, and let's see if he's gonna install it without going on internet. So remember, this is a perfect example of a yum server because we installed it locally here. So it's installed DHCP, syslinux, dependencies installed, it's complete. Okay, so it installed what we needed for it, so we didn't even have to go online. Okay, so we are not even connected to the internet, but we're still able to install the packages. Okay, because we are doing it locally, we're installing it from the local server. Okay, so let's see if the HTTPD service is already there. Okay, this is the IP address. Okay, so we need to have the HTTPD service started here. So what else you could do is you could also check to see if the HTTPD service is running or not. Okay, service status HTTPD. Okay, and hit enter. Okay, now you go HTTPD status. Okay, and it's running. Good. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to make some directories here. So we need to make some directories into the TFTP boot. So let's go and see if the folder TFTP exists. So we want to make a folder in the root TFTP boot. So it doesn't exist. So I'm going to make directory mkdir -p TFTP boot, and then I'm going to give it a name images. TFTP boot images. Okay, now I also need one more directory in the same TFTP directory. I'm going to name it Pixie Linux .cfg. So it's a configuration folder. Okay, Pixie Linux .cfg. Now what I need to do is I need to copy some content into this folder here. Okay, so let's see what I need to do. First I need to go into the directory var www html. Then there is a directory called CentOS in here, or CentOS 6. Okay, so this directory we have created in here, in yum directory here. When we are setting up the yum, we have created this directory here. Do you see this? mkdir var www CentOS. This is where it's coming from. Okay. So if you have named this something else, so make sure you copy that. Okay, and then images. Okay, and let's see what we have in here. So we have a directory called Pixie boot. So we're going to go into Pixie boot, and then let's see what we have here. And we have a file name vmlinux. Okay. So what is this vmlinux? Let's take a look here. Okay, so this is a file which is written in binary, so we can't read it. But let me tell you what vmlinux stands for here. Give me 1 second. So this file is vmlinux is a file that comes up when you are booting the system here. So let me see. If we go back to our let's see here. I think I talked about this during the boot process, right? Let's see here. Network. System initialization. Hmm. Okay, let me try to bring up one server here. Okay, so I think I have not mentioned this while I'm explaining the boot system. So this is a file. This is the file. It's called a Linux kernel executable. Okay, it's a VM Linux. It's a compressed Linux kernel file, and it's capable of loading the operating system into the memory. Okay, so what is Linux? Linux file means virtual memory Linux. That's what it means. Okay, I'm gonna just turn it off here at the moment. Once you set this up here, then you would understand more than what exactly is happening here, okay? Okay. Okay, so we have two directories here. Then we need to copy this file to this directory here, okay? So let's see here. Let me do it from the command line, I mean from the home directory. So how are you going to copy it? CP Okay, I'm copying the file CP, and what file I'm copying it from? From this folder, I'm copying VM Linux file to, I'm copying it to TFTP folder. Okay, with the with the folder name images. Okay, so all right, let me just copy this command here. Okay, and if I go to that folder, TFTP boot, I should see that file in there. Okay, so I copied this file from this folder here. Oops. From this folder to this folder here. Okay. All right, good. Now we need to copy one more file here. So initialization file. Okay, init.rd. Okay, now copy. All right, let's see init.rd.img. What does it means? So this is a initial RAM disk. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to copy CP, same command here, but instead of VM Linux file, I'm going to copy init.rd file, init.rd.img file to this tftp/images folder. Okay. All right. So we have two copies. We have two files. We need to copy it. Okay, let's do that. Okay, now when the package was installed, it created a directory. It's called xinit.d directory. Okay, let's go in there. So if you're going into etc folder, it's a configuration file. Okay, this directory is created when we install one of this package here, either DHCP, TFTP, or syslinux. Okay. All right. Can you mute yourself, please? Okay, so now I'm talking so much about TFTP. So let's search what TFTP stands for. Okay, so TFTP is nothing but is one of the file transport to a protocol here, but this is mostly used for Pixie boot. Okay, in this environment, you need a folder like this, TFTP folder or TFTP protocol for you to be able to execute the Pixie boot. Okay. All right. I'm pretty sure nobody is following this, but when you set this up here, do this couple times, third time, you will definitely know what is going on here, because it's a complex environment here. These things you have to set up in your environment for you to be able to uh, maintain like a good infrastructure. And again, you won't be doing this everything on your own, because most of the time you would end up working in a big environment. Even if they have like a small environment like 1,000 servers, you won't be working alone. You would have about a bunch of teammates that you need to work with. So I'm going to see here TFTP is a file here. So let's go ahead and edit that file. Okay, so everything remains the same, but only two lines I think I'm going to edit here. Okay, so this line, it says disable here. I'm going to make it enable. If something is disabled, when you say no, that means it's enabled, right? And then here, the server arguments, I'm going to change it to TFTP boot. Okay. Socket type protocol UDP. We did talk about TCP and UDP, right? This is a perfect example of what I said you before, TCP and UDP. Okay, let's go up in here and I think it's a network. Okay, so let me bring that up in here. Okay, what is UDP? UDP is user datagram protocol, and we have two kinds of UDP. One is a broadcast and another one is a multicast. Okay, so what will happen here is we probably be using the multicast for this Pixie boot here. So it's a connectionless, it's unreliable, but it's fast, and it uses the broadcast protocol here. So what's happening here is you will have a Pixie server in here, and it will be sending out information on the network. It doesn't care if the network receives it or not. But when we boot it from the network and try to grab this information, then we will make a connection with the Pixie server, and then we should be able to download the operating system. Okay, all right, let's take a look. So this is a perfect example for UDP protocol. Okay, and everything else looks good to me. Okay, so let's see. I don't want to.
Would it help if you put it in like a notepad to line them up evenly, or no?
Yeah, actually, I'm copying it from here. Let me try copying this here. Now it should help. Yeah, there you go. This is what I want here. So the only two things you are editing is this one here, and when it was disabled, you make it enable here. When you say no, disable yes means it's disabled. Disable no means it's enabled. Okay. I'm gonna save and exit. Now, come on, computer. Okay. Okay. The service is service XINETD status. So the service is not there. So I'm going to start the service. Okay. Let me check the status. So it's running. Okay. So let's see the service has started it is giving us a PID process ID as a 2992. Okay. Let's see if it's there.
So, but Zafar, this inet DD or XI inet daemon, it was already there, or it got installed due to these two files which we.
No, the package installed it.
Okay.
It was part of a package.
Yeah, because I needed that. I was searching Google a few weeks back, and in our machine, I couldn't find this daemon, and I didn't know how to get that.
Yeah, exactly. And let's take a look here.
I was installing Samba, and I think for Samba it was needed. So.
Exactly. Samba works similarly too.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna cover Samba also. Uh,
Don't you have to use to switch NAP or something like that? Network
yeah, hyphen ANP, all network port,
ANP, yeah, ANP, sorry.
and then grep XINETD. Okay, good.
So that means
So
it's running.
it's running and it's telling it's UDP,
Okay.
and it's running on port. What is the port it's running on?
Uh, wouldn't that be the same PID? The
69. It's running on
69.
port
Oh, okay.
69. What port is 22?
That is SSH.
Good. Very good. Okay. So Let me do this here. Okay, it's the same result. Okay, now we need to copy some data files in here. So for that, uh, no, not that, but okay, let's see here. Let me go into the user folder. So what is a user folder? Let's take a look here. I myself don't remember all this all the time here. I remember HC because I go in there a lot. And what is the user folder? So it contains a backup of some of the system files folder and contains optional commands. Okay, so it has some optional commands here. Okay, which are normally not used. So we're going to copy those. ls, then I'm going to go to share. Then I'm going to do ls again. Then I have to go into sys Linux folder. Then let's see here, ls, and I need to copy a menu file. I need to copy this file here, okay? So I'm going to copy that file to tftp boot, okay? Copy usr share sys Linux, and then menu.c32, and I'm copying it to tftp folder, tftp boot folder here, okay? And then there is one more file I need to copy, which is pixielinux.0 right here. I need to copy this file. Again to tftp boot folder, okay? /cd/tftp. So we have copied this. We have copied these 4 files from the various locations, okay? All right. Okay. So you should have all, before moving forward, make sure you have all these 4 files in here. Okay. Good. Now, there is one more file I need to copy to a different folder here. So the command is cp/user share, then doc, then dhcp. What are my options? dhcp 411 and then dhc. So I need to copy the dhcp.config file. I need to copy this file here, okay? And where am I copying it to? There is another folder that was created by the DHCP. When we install the DHCP package, it created this folder here, okay? I showed you, I think I showed you a command. There is a command that tells you which files and folders a package would install when you run the following command, okay? So you could find that out. Yum list all. I think here I found this document here. Let's see here. Trouble maintain yum queries, list packages info, dependency list, search, group packages. Okay, anyway, I think I told you about there is one command you could tell. You could type and it will tell you all the changes it made to the system here. Yum remove and upgrade, install, update, local install packages, reinstall, downgrade, swap, erase, remove, auto display yum command options. But anyway, you got the idea, right? So let's see. So this folder was created when you have installed the DHCP package here. So where am I copying it to? I'm copying it to the configuration folder, etc DHCP, and I'm going to name. So when I type something like this, what is happening? So there is a file already in that folder. I'm overwriting that file. Okay, it's going to tell you, are you going to overwrite? Yes. Okay. Now I'm gonna have to edit this freshly copied file here. Okay. So where is that file? It's in etc folder. Okay. So I could edit that file from any directory where I'm at, right? So I'm gonna go in here and okay, before this I need to know some information here. Okay. Okay. Oh, we have a bound set up here. So what we need is we need this information here. Okay. Let me copy that. Okay, so the information I would need is the IP address, the broadcast, and the subnet mask. Okay, so let me go ahead and edit that file. I'm going to edit the DHCPD config file. So right now, what is our DHCP? What is our DHCP? How are we getting the DHCP? So did I talk about DHCP before? Let's take a look.
Isn't there a DHCP server? And then it posts
Yeah,
the
that's
network.
what I'm asking you. Can you guess what it is right now? Every computer, unless it's static, every computer is getting a DHCP ID. Can you guess what it is right now? You're
It
on the
pulls
right
from
path though.
it pulls the IP address from the pool. The,
Yeah, but who's giving that?
It's DHCP server. Everybody would have their own if they're using a home network. So every router would have a DHCP
Yep,
server.
yeah, exactly. Router is providing that.
Yeah.
Unless you go inside the router settings, then you could mess around a little bit there.
Or we can basically force in our PC or laptop, which I do normally. We can force a Google DNS, and we can bypass Zoto's DNS if we want to.
Yeah, that's true too. I think Google is doing these days too. So
But
right
that's
now,
DNS, but we are talking about DHCP, right? So DHCP is coming from either static or either it will come from router.
yeah, yeah. But
There's
if you're not
also a
aware, as I
dedicated
said,
server, like the Windows Server 2008. You can create that as a DHCP, dedicate that for DHCP. Add one of the features, and you can, configure the DHCP on that too, and then you can apply that
exactly.
to.
Right now, whatever we are doing right now is kind of setting up a DHCP server. Okay, so when we're gonna do the network boot, it's gonna go and start looking for this. We're gonna make this as a DHCP server so that it starts doing the UDP on it. Okay, that's why we collected this information here. Okay, so let me let me go through this file here. Okay, I don't need all this. Okay, now you see it already has some DHCP configuration here. So let's take a look at my IP address. This is the IP address that is coming from the router here, okay? Mm, 190. So I type all. ipconfig/all. Okay, so
Could that be pulling from your virtual box, the 10.254? Because your virtual box also has a.
yeah, exactly. You're so right. Where is it? Normally, if you don't have a virtual if you're doing like a NAT gateway, then you will get the IP assigned by the router. I'm trying to see what is the. Okay, this is the default gateway for the router. One 192.168.15.1. Okay, so it's so wherever I'm at, it's using the TP-Link router. So I don't have access to it. I can't go in there. So, but you get the idea, right? This file, when it's actually going onto the network directly, is gonna edit itself. Okay, so I don't need these lines. So in here, Okay, so you have to calculate using this here. So subnet is asking for the subnet here. So what you need to do is you have to give the subnet address here. So how are we going to calculate here? You have to gather this information here. So I'm looking at this here. So, but this is a broadcast address, but I need a subnet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in here 192.168.56.0. Okay. The last octet I'm making it as I have 104 here, but I'm making it 0 here. Okay. And then net mask. You need 255.255.255.0.
So for that, I might be wrong, but isn't that the network address? .0?
Yeah, it's the range. That's where it's starting from.
Okay, because I thought the subnet is you take out from the network and you make it
Usually
smaller.
start from 0, right?
That's the subnet should be 0 for this.
Yeah, this should be 0 here. Let's try it anyway.
Okay, okay, all right. I just want to double check. Sorry.
And you could have an option here for range. So I'm deleting that. Option router. Okay, I need this file here. Option domain name. Option domain name. So I'm going to name this as ZMPT boot dot local. Okay, and the range dynamics. It needs 192.168.56. We already add 104, right? So I'm going to give it after 104, 105. Okay. And then this is actually kind of controlling where how the DHCP server is going to assign the IP address. 56.1.199. Okay, so it has a range of about 100 IP addresses. Okay, all right, good. So I got that, and I need next server. Okay, so this is going to be the IP address we copied here for this server here, 192.168.56.104. Okay, this is the server you have to get it from, and right here. Default lease time. And then the file name. Okay, this is all we need here. I'm going to delete everything else. Okay, so the next server is 104. Boot, it's going to start assigning IPs from 105 up until in this range here, okay? And this is the name of the server or domain name, and it looks good to me. Okay. All right. So when you're setting up, just put this much information here. Delete everything when you see in the file. Okay.
So what does this next server mean? The next server is 192.104.
So next server is actually when we're gonna boot from the host. When we're gonna try to boot it from the network, it's gonna go and try to tell itself. It's gonna look for the server, and the next server, the Pixie configuration file, it will give the location for this server here, because all this is coming from As I mentioned before, all this, operating system and all this is not developed by one company, anybody. This is coming from over the years, and somebody have came in and did some improvement over it, and then they will start adding those improvements as a part of our operating system. So this Pixie boot, it's not exclusive to either Windows or either Linux. It was probably developed by somebody. Let's see who developed Pixie boot. Okay, so all these protocols are DHCP, TFTP, and all these things, are developed over the years. But when we're gonna ask the system to boot from, we're gonna go in here and create a new file in here, like, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into its setting, and then we're gonna go into, is it general? Yeah, over here we left this as we left this either we left it boot from floppy, optical, or hard drive, and whichever had a boot partition, it boots from there, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to set network boot. So when we're going to do network boot, the network card already has some information on it that will try to look for the Pixie server. Okay, and I'll show you later. All these things will fall in together, and then it will work the way you want it. So, but right now we are doing, once we save this, and this is what the UDP is going to do. This server would be sending that information relentlessly on the network here. It would be keep sending information out regardless if anybody listens or not. Okay, so whoever want to listen, if it's booting from the Pixie boot, listens and grab that information, and then follow through the other things here. So it will broadcast on this network all this information here, and then it will also broadcast the server information, and then the Pixie boot will determine, okay, this is what I need here, and then it will follow up other options, and based on that it will boot from the network.
So that's why we have TFTP server running on that, because
yeah,
okay,
exactly. So let me save and exit out of this. So remember, in this file I have nothing but this line of code here. That's it. You just copy and start. So you just have to you just have to gather this information and then work on it, and then determine what is needed in your environment. Okay, it shouldn't be very difficult.
So this is the only piece of information you need in this VI editor.
Yeah.
Everything else you can delete.
Yeah, I actually deleted everything else.
Okay.
Now there is one more file I need to edit. Okay, what is that file here? So I have to TFTP boot. So I gave this information here, right? I gave this information here. Pixie Linux. Oh, I think I accidentally deleted this. Yeah, I deleted. File name is going to be dot 0. And then I'm going to close the code here. Yeah, we'll start coding end of August, first week of August. Yeah, for now, just type exactly the way you see it, okay? And then let me go into pixielinux.configuration folder, and then let me list in there. So I'm going to create a file name here, default. So this file doesn't exist in there. So what you're doing is you're just creating a file in there. All right, you're going to get confused. So I'm going to create a file here, default, default. Okay. Oh, okay, you can't read this file. Okay, you can't read this file too. So I'm going to create a config file here named default, vi default. Okay, and then I'm going to name default. Default is menu.c32. That's the file we just took a look at. And then it's going to prompt. And how many times you want it prompt? 0. And timeout. I'll explain you when this is the server is actually running. And then the menu title. Okay, and the label is CentOS 6. You could actually name it whatever you want. And then the kernel. It's coming from the folder images. IMA images slash VM Linux. Okay, this is where it's gonna get the image from. And append okay, so let's see here. The kickstart server is gonna be 104 slash CentOS 6. So this is the IP address of this box here, okay? So you have to change it when you are configuring your own. Okay, I'm going to go into this folder here. Images. Okay, I'll show you in a minute here. Okay, let me just complete this here. I have to copy one more file here. I think I forgot. And then I give it a name, images / init rd.img. Okay, Linux. This is kickstart. This is where it's gonna kickstart the server. Okay, so before this, you have to copy a file. You have to go to the folder cd okay. Okay, usually whenever you have a new user, there is a file name called Anaconda. There is a file name Anaconda. You guys might have seen it because I have deleted from here. So let me see if it's in the somebody else's folder, okay? Mm. Okay, there is a file name Anaconda here, okay? Anybody remember when you first log into the system before you did anything? When you do ls, there is a file name called Anaconda here. That's a default file name that comes and sit in here, so we need to copy that. But we don't have etc.
The init folder?
It's an init folder?
Hidden. The Anaconda you're talking about?
Yeah. So let me see. Normally it's system generated file. It is a system generated file that sits in your home directory. Anaconda.ks.cfg. Okay. Let me start this original box here. Maybe it has that file in there, okay?
So, what if you add the new user? Do you think the file will create itself?
It will. Who said that?
Amir?
All right, man. You got a job. You got a job. Okay, see? There is a file name kickstart.cfg, and now that Amir reminded me, let's create a new user. Don't even worry about this. Mm, okay, and then I'm going to switch to user because I'm root. I could do it without even a password. What? Uh, oh no, I need to do series Zafar one. It's not showing in there because I have to directly log in as Zafar first. Oh, I think I messed up. Let me add a new user. Okay, normally it should have created one here, but it's not. I'm not seeing it here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy it from this box here.
Zafar, can you check the root directory as well?
I did, right?
You did?
It's not there. Like this directory?
No, I think what he meant the actual root.
Root user directory, right?
No.
No, it's not here. But here's the example here. Whenever the system does this, it copies this here, okay? So I'm gonna do scp anaconda file, and then I'm gonna give the IP address. What is IP address for this?
I think it was 104.
104. Okay. I'm copying that file 192.168.56.104 : I'm going to copy it to root. Okay. And I'm logging in as root at. Yes. Okay, the file is copied here. So if I do ls, I have the file here, anaconda. KS stands for kickstart. Okay, good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this file, and then where am I going to copy it to? The var www html CentOS 6 dot ks dot cfg. Okay, so I'm actually renaming the file. There is no anaconda file there because I'm giving it a kickstart.cfg file name in there. Now what I need to do is I need to edit that file here. vi, okay, and where is that file at? var www html CentOS 6 dot ks dot cfg. I think I'm missing here, right? What am I missing?
On file name,
File name, right?
yeah, prelinux.0.
Thank you. Uh, CP. Okay, and slash var slash www. Okay, now edit it. Okay. So there are only few edits you need to do. Look for URL. So this is a configuration file here, okay? So this is a set of instructions that are going down, and it says like, okay, so it's doing install from CD. So I'm going to comment out CD, okay? Instead of that, I'm telling it to do it from the URL and hyphen URL equals, and then the location of the URL, okay? The URL is here. Okay, this is the URL it needs to go. Okay, it needs to look into through that folder here, okay? And network. Okay, so mine is bound 0. No, I'm not going to mess around with it much here. Root password. root password, firewall service SSH. Okay, I'm gonna comment this out for now. And okay. Okay. Okay, so the only thing you're doing in here is you're commenting this out, you're changing this, you're adding this line if it doesn't exist, and you're adding this line. Okay, and comment out. And you're commenting this line out. Okay. Good. Now let's go into this folder here. And then I have to set the permissions for this read, write, execute for this file here. Right now, this file is only read and write for the user. Okay, we are not into user administration yet. So, but don't worry about it. Just run this command chmod 777 ks.cfg. Okay, it was only read write. Now the file is read write execute. We just changed the permission here. Okay, and get enforce. So it's enforcing. This is a SE Linux security. So disable okay, to disable the security, SE Linux security, set enforce 0. Now let's get enforce. It says permissive. That means it's allowing for the system to be boot. Now the last thing we need to do is restart the DHCP. What is the command? Service. Now start the DHCP service. Command is service DHCP start. So let's check the status first. Service DHCPD status. So it stopped here. So we're gonna do is start. Okay. The name of the service is DHCPD. Okay. All right, guys. Cross your fingers. We're gonna do the Pixie boot. So I'm gonna create new. I'm gonna say RHEL. Boot from network install. Okay. And then I'm going to create, and then it's going to be 16 GB. Okay, right here, right? So I'm going to go into the settings here, network, and then host only adapter, allow. So let me copy this. And then you go into general, and you go into advanced. Oh no, system, and you bring the network up as number 1. Disable this, move it down. Okay. All right, let me capture this. So when I start the machine, what is going to happen is it's going to boot from the network. It's going to use the network card to boot the system and hopefully find the whatever we have configured here so far. Okay. It's working. Remember, we have not attached the CD to the system here, but it's working from the network.
We labeled something else, Zafar, right? And we are seeing only CentOS SACs. Why we aren't seeing the other?
We'll wait through it and see if it's gonna. We named it the ZMPT1, right?
Well, this establishes the TFTP is working basically.
Yeah.
So we'll start pushing fast to client, yeah.
So here's the proof here, right? We are booting from the network here. So it's going through the network. And now I could start. I don't have to wait here. I could start another new box here and start it from the network. So what is happening here? This is a network book setup here and doing it from the network. And you could do more than one. You could do more than one PC at the same time. If you could do more than one, you could do 1,000 PCs also at the same time. So this is exactly what you do this is how you install operating system. I think if you could do it, play around and see if you could do it to Windows also, and see if it's going to do installation for Windows. But if you have worked in a Windows environment, this is how normally the Pixie server is usually running on Linux. Okay, anybody has any questions?
Need practice before any questions.
Yeah, so documents I have so far is, I think it's flawless here so far. All this is working because it's already installing the operating system. Okay, so did you get the idea here that we are doing it without the CD? There is no CD attached here. So if you go into storage, there is no CD attached here. It's going from the network. All right, let's do it one more. Why is he saying that? Okay, oh yeah. Let me shut down this here. Create. Make sure when you're doing it, this is 16 GB because originally the Yum server was about 16 GB in the size. You know what? You don't have to, I think. Let's do it 8 GB. Okay. So only thing you have to do is go into settings and network and set it to host only adapter. Allow this. And then you go into system and you uncheck both of this and you move it down. You move it down optical also. And you check the network and move it on top. So this is going to go through the network priority. I mean the boot priority. You should remember this back from 90s. Okay, so what I'm going to do is see this is going on its own here. It's kicking along. Before that, let me shut this one down so that it's okay. Is this box right? Okay, you might get when you start the box, you might get this option here. Please select a virtual optical disk file here. So it's telling you to do it here, but what you have to do is just click cancel here. Okay. All right. So you don't do anything. So if you could read through this, if you could stop it a little bit. It says press tab to edit options here. Oh, okay. Now you see that IP address here 192.68.104, and it's reading the kickstart file. Okay, I hit enter.
Zafar, quick question. Do you need to have the do you need to have the server 104 on all the time?
Yes.
Does this still work? Okay.
Of course. If I shut it down, all these things are going to start crashing.
Right.
Mason, this is what you're doing now when you imaging the Windows computers, laptop.
Yeah, but we
this
don't.
is-
I mean, we
this
don't
is
have
what you're
access
doing.
to the Pixie servers or anything or the script. Basically, what happens when you run the Pixie boot on the network, actually it installs the OS2 automatically, so we don't need to go through like clicking next, next, next. It installs the operating system, everything.
Yeah, when you're doing it, I mean, there are some steps here you could automate too, but
Yeah.
you could just look through that a little bit deeper on your own time.
Right. Right. I think there's a lot of coding involved to create the image and everything. That's like a separate course, I think, for that, right? I believe.
Yeah.
But can you create it like an image on the Linux system for automated? Or can you like a
Yeah,
tour them?
you have to fool around in here, this file here. This is our kickstart file.
Okay.
So I think, let's see here. VM. Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing this every day, but if you need
Right.
to, you end up doing it. So you could just put in a code in here, and then that way it will move forward. Okay, make sure you also fool around a little bit on Yum server in here, because you have to set up Yum server before you set up the Pixie server. The Yum server is going on top of the Pixie server. I mean, Pixie is going on top of the Yum server here. So to set up Pixie, it's all starting over here, not the DNS, not this one. Yum, this one, Yum local. So you're going through all these steps here. Why don't you take a challenge here instead of loading this here? Install Windows boot, Windows CD, download Windows ISO file, and instead of doing this, do all these steps here using Windows CD, and see if it's going to work for you. Okay, now you see you have like two different servers going through simultaneously here. Okay, so if you could do more than one, you could do 1,000, even more than 1,000. So this is how you're going to save time and money. So we are right on time here, so I'm going to stop it here. And whenever the video is ready, I will upload and put it in chat. Please use the group chat for any questions you have. Okay, it's going to help you a lot, and also it will help the person who is responding to you. He have to think also, right, to respond to your question, so it will refresher for him.
Zafar, do you have some time on the side, or are you busy?
And what?
Do you have some time to talk?
No, we are done now.
No, on the side. Do you have some time to talk right
Not
now, or
today.
are you? Okay.
Not today or tomorrow. Weekday, text me during weekday and we'll see.
Okay.
Okay, all right. I'm going to stop the recording here, and then tomorrow we'll see if we could work on setting up Samba. That's a fun class too. And the end of this month, here, first week of August, I'm going to start scripting. So maybe if we wrap up, we'll start scripting in 2 weeks. If not, then we'll start in August here, August 3rd. And you guys don't want to miss any of those classes, okay? All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
I love it.